On a rainy and cold midnight, a vicious kidnapping took place. The driver not only ran away after hitting a girl, but also kidnapped her. The witness was a blind girl, even though she could describe a clear criminal portrait with a keen sense of perception, but she also became the target of the kidnapper. How could a blind girl without defense escape? Can the police really catch this kidnapper? Today, let's watch this Korean suspense movie, Blind. The story starts with a car accident 3 years ago. Intern police officer Min grew up in an orphanage with her brother. Although they had no biological relationship, but they were like true brothers and sisters. One night, Min once again took her brother, who was skipping class, out of the dance room. Her brother always skipped class and practiced dancing. Min directly used the handcuffs to control him on the police car. The two of them had a big quarrel. Then the car was out of control and hit into the highway shields. Min was thrown out of the car and was seriously injured in a coma. Her brother, who couldn't get out of the car because of the handcuffs, fell off the bridge and died. The car accident made Min losing her sights and her brother forever, also the opportunity to be a police officer. Min has been living in self-blame since then. 3 years has passed in a blink of an eye. Min moved out of the orphanage and lives alone with a guide dog. A few days later is her brother's 3-year death anniversary. Her brother's friends plan to hold a commemorative performance and wants to invite Min to join. The orphanage director also wants to use this opportunity to console Min to move forward. The director tells Min that her brother's death was not her fault, and no one blames her. Then the director gives Min a ticket to the performance, and an alarm clock that can alert the obstacle distance by changing vibration frequency. But Min could not let go of her guilt. She rejects the ticket and the alarm clock, then leaves the orphanage alone. It's already dark. The director wants to go home with Min together, but is also rejected. Min waits by the road for a long time, but does not wait for the taxi coming. The car that was booked in advance is delayed by the driver for at least 2 hours. As Min waits and becomes more anxious, a car stops in front of her. After getting in, the driver passionately gives her a cup of coffee, but Min doesn't drink it immediately. The driver wants to open the cap for her. Just as the driver moves his attention away from driving, the car seems to hit something. The man immediately gets out of the car to check. Min asks what is going on. He calmly answers that he just hit a dog. But Min is sure that she heard a woman screamed. She immediately alerts and takes out her cell phone to call the police, who knows that the driver suddenly tries to drag Min into the car. Fortunately, Min still has her muscle memories and controlled his driver instantly. At this time, the car is coming closer. The driver is panicked and pushes Min away. Then Min rushes to the police station, although she couldn't see with her own eyes. But Min feels that this car hit is not that simple. The driver was likely to kidnap the victim and escaped on the spot. The police who speaks to Min thinks that Min's words are not credible, because she is blind and has no evidence. After a few words, she is kicked out of the police station. However, the police receives a missing girl case the next day. The location and time of the girl's disappearance is very consistent with Min's description. Min agrees to assist in the investigation. The person in charge of this case is the criminal police officer Cho. Cho doesn't believe that a blind person could provide any useful clues, until Min accurately describes his personal characteristics.
형사님은 30대 후반이시죠?
예.
키는 170 조금 넘고 보이진 않아도 알 수 있는 건 많아요. 형사님이 점심에 짜장면을 드셨을 거라는 것도요.
It turns out that after losing sights, Min's other senses become extremely sensitive. She can detect many details that ordinary people can't notice. According to Min's memory, they sum up 3 clues. First, the driver is about 40 years old and 1.75 meters tall. Second, the driver is a left-handed person, because Min touched the right hand with the watch on the wrist. Ordinary people would put the watch on the hand that they don't use often. Third, this taxi is a model taxi driver because the seat is leather. And the last passenger should be a medical staff, because Min smelled disinfectant in the car. Model taxis need to be strictly tested, so there are not many drivers who need to be checked. Just when Cho is about to have a cup of tea, a delivery guy named Kwon claims to be a witness. He claims that the clue provided by Min is wrong. The kidnapper did not drive a taxi, but a private vehicle. But apart from that, Kwon couldn't say more useful clues. In contrast, Cho believes Min more, because he thinks Kwon comes to provide false evidence deliberately, because he wants to share the bounty. After driving Kwon away, Cho takes Min to visit several taxi companies and collects a lot of audio samples. Min carefully identifies these sounds, but found no voice of Kidnapper. Min just recalls Kwan's words. Was the kidnapper really driving a private vehicle? The two decides to call Kwan, but he does not answer the phone. Meanwhile, Kwan has already targeted by the kidnapper. He is very angry because the police does not believe him, so he takes some paint and revengefully prints the bounty announcement banner. The kidnapper has been following him and recognizes that Kwan was the other witness. In order to mute him, the kidnapper follows behind Kwan in a deserted alley. Then he knocks Kwan out with a brick. Just when he is about to kill him, someone is throwing garbage nearby. The kidnapper gets scared and runs away, and Kwan is found and sent to the hospital. After knowing the incident, Cho and Min soon realizes that Kwan was right. But since it's a private vehicle, why did he randomly invite strangers to get in the car? Min recalls that the kidnapper had been urging her to drink the coffee. Now, he is trying to silence all the witnesses. All signs show that the kidnapper is likely to be a serial offender. Cho also recalls the recent case of several female students missing in a row, so he boldly speculates that the two cases should be the same person. The killer's original target was actually Min, who is blind. That coffee might have been drugged. Unexpectedly, the kidnapper ran into an accident, so he took the girl he hit instead. Cho tells his boss his own speculation, but he thinks Cho reads too much novels. It's not reasonable at all. That night, Min, who is home alone, suddenly receives a call from the kidnapper. He threatens her and Kwan not to meddle in other people's business, otherwise, they'll all die. This call proves that Cho is right about his speculation. The person not only kidnapped several female college students, but also committed a crime and murder. That night, the murderer was going to kill Min, but an accident happened, so Min luckily escaped. After hanging up the murderer's phone, Min immediately calls Kwan. But Kwan is still angry, deliberately not answering the phone. Cho can't get through either. Min decides to take her dog to the hospital to remind Kwan. But Kwan thinks Min is worrying too much. However, as soon as he gets on the subway, he finds Min, who is on the other side of the track, being followed by the murderer. It's late at night. There are only a few passengers. Kwan regrets that he should have listened to her. It's too late to call the police now. Kwan can only make a video call to guide her how to escape.
제가 멈추라고 할 때까지 계속 달려요. 알았죠? 바로 앞에 엘리베이터가 있어요.
Just when the elevator's door is about to close, the murderer catches up. He injects an anesthetic into her. Min falls to the ground immediately. Luckily, Min's guide dog drags him out of the elevator. The elevator door is finally closed. Min is sent to the ground and saved by other people. But the loyal dog is badly stabbed and bleed to death. After the inspection, the police finds that the anesthetic in Min's body is special because regular hospitals are usually not allowed to use it. Only some private clinics will come into contact with this kind of thing. Therefore, Cho concludes that the killer's true identity should be a doctor at a private clinic. Meanwhile, Kwan also identifies the killer's car. With these two important clues, Cho Ray investigates several private clinics and finally finds the murderer's car in a parking lot of a hospital. He happens to bump into the murderer who got off work. The two immediately fight with each other. After several rounds, Cho controls the murderer. Unexpectedly, the murderer takes out his surgical knife and stabs Cho's neck. Cho is eventually killed in a dark basement. After killing Cho, the murderer takes his phone away, sends a message to Kwan asking where he and Min at. It turns out that Cho placed the two in the orphanage where Min grew up. The director of the orphanage took all the children to watch the show. Now, the entire orphanage has only Kwan, Min, and a guard. Kwan tells the murderer where they are hiding without thinking too much. The murderer then immediately rushes to the orphanage. At this time, Min and Kwan knows nothing about the imminent danger. The two talks about their past. Min thinks Kwan is like her dead brother. Kwan also thinks that having a sister who is so caring about himself is actually good. Just when the two are getting along, the murderer has quietly killed the guard outside. Then he sneaks into the house and suddenly shows up in front of Min. To protect Min, Kwan pushes down the killer. But he couldn't beat this deadly man. The killer stabs Kwan in the stomach. Kwan loses his resistance and faints on the ground. Min takes the opportunity to cut off the power, then hides herself in the dark. She uses the terrain advantage, leading the killer to the bathroom, then pushes the washing machine to block the door and traps him inside. Meanwhile, she drags Kwan into the director's office, tries to stop bleeding and hides him under the desk. At this time, the killer has pushed the washing machine away, runs out of the bathroom. Min leads the killer into a storage room and burns him with gasoline. This time, it completely angers the killer. He grabs Min's hair, smashing her hard on the ground. Min basically loses her consciousness. Just when the murderer is about to rape her, Kwan wakes up in time and knocks him out from behind. Then Kwan puts the distance alarm in Min's hands. The two of them are running to the outside. But at this point, the murderer has woken up. He chases up and knocks the two down on the ground. To protect Min, Kwon runs to the killer, but he is knocked down by the killer again and again. Min suddenly remembers the car accident 3 years ago. At that time, she couldn't protect her brother. This time, she doesn't allow herself to lose another brother again. She struggles to stand up and smashes the killer's car window with a brick. The sound of the car alarm attracts killer's attention. Min holds the distance alarm in her hand. As the killer approaches, the alarm becomes louder. As soon as the killer walks up to her, Min uses the brick in her hand and tries her best to swing it. Finally, the killer is smashed to the ground, and they're saved by the police, who arrives in time. It turns out that Cho sent the clue back to the police station before he died, and found a kidnapped girl in the car accident at the murderer's house. The girl is still alive, but all other missing girls have all become frozen corpses. The police didn't find the murderer, so they rushed to the orphanage to protect the two. Although it was late, but manages to control the killer in time. After this incident, Min is invited to return to the police academy to study, although she can't get to the front line, but she can work as a case analyst after. Affected by Min and Officer Cho, Kwon also decides to apply for the police academy and becomes an honorable police officer. That's today's movie. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.